Alright, this video is about designing a simple experiment. Okay, so the example we're going to use is from the 1800s. They used to think that bacteria and stuff just kind of grew spontaneously out of nowhere. So this guy Louis Pasteur set up an experiment to prove that wrong. So if you look, let's look at our setup here. We've got a flask here with some liquid in the bottom. These are nutrients. These are nutrients that the bacteria are going to feed on. We've got this same exact setup over here. Okay, one of the things in an experiment is you want to make sure you have some constants. Okay, in this case, we've got the same exact Bunsen burner. We've got the same exact type of flask, same amounts of things in there. Okay, everything needs to stay the same except for the one thing that you're trying to test for. In this case, first thing he did was he boiled the broth because you want to make sure to kill anything that was already remaining in there. Okay. Next, he broke off the flask from experiment 1. That's the only thing that's changing in the experiment. Everything else is staying constant. The only thing that's changing is he broke off the flask. Okay, this then would be our experimental group. It's the one we are experimenting on. This one we're just going to leave it be. We're leaving everything the same. This is called the control group. Because at the very end, we're going to compare what happens in the experimental group to what happens in the control group. That's the whole point. Alright, so dust from the air after time kind of falls into that first flask. But it doesn't actually get into this other one. It kind of just sits here. So after time goes by, the first one, our experimental group started getting all the bunch of bacteria and stuff growing, and it got really cloudy. Okay, you can measure how cloudy it gets. Experiment 2, our control group, nothing happened. So again, we're comparing what happened in our experimental group to what happened in the control group. Okay, this one got cloudy, this one didn't. The other part of your student target was to identify the different variables. We've got the independent variable and the dependent variable. So I'm going to go back a couple slides here. All right. The independent variable is the thing that you are changing in the experiment. Remember, everything is exactly the same, except for what? What changed? Well, we broke off the flask of the one. That would be the independent variable. That is the thing that changed. The fact that that's broken off, and that one's not. The dependent variable is what you measure at the very end of the experiment. Well, what did we measure in this case? We wanted to see if there was growth or not. There's growth over here. There's not any over here. That is the dependent variable. The dependent variable is what you measure. The independent variable is what you change. We changed the fact that the flask was broken, then we measured if there was growth afterwards. Be prepared to talk about all these tomorrow in class.